I'm at the top of the world, and quite literally, because today's been an exhilarating day. You know, they talk about love at first sight, but this was love at first sound. So, you know, as I started off, there was that excitement, saw the needle blip to the 2,500 RPM mark, that gurgle of the exhaust, everyone around turned to look. Well, that was fun, but as I got driving, it got even better, because when I switched it into sport mode, there was this full-blown glory of that 10-cylinder band and all four pipes in total harmony. Okay, so the sound from a Huracan may be a little more raw and louder, but this four-pipe orchestra blows a mean tune too. That guttural roar as you spin up the revs, and then that crackle of the overrun just as you lift off is just entertaining. It eggs you on. And those 610 horses under the hood, what can I say? I mean, you know, they just reel in everything that's in front of you so fast and leave everything that's behind you so far behind, so quick, that I was using the brake pedal more than the accelerator in our kind of conditions. That's because there is power from the word go, and anywhere else in the range actually, whenever you demand it. Even at part throttle, it gives you a generous serving of torque. And then, when you flatten your foot to the floor, it just spins you back into your seat with this giant wave of torque propelling you forward at lightning quick speeds. And then it feels like a giant vacuum is sucking you in. 0 to 100 comes up in just 3.2 seconds, which is very much in sports car territory. And the 200 comes up in 11.3. So before you know it, you get up to some pretty serious speeds and have to come down hard on the brakes. And it's very reassuring actually to have those brakes, because they really bring you to a grinding halt when you need to, especially when you're going quick and everything's coming so fast at you. The R8 does it in such a composed manner that if it weren't for the delicious accompanying soundtrack, you wouldn't realize how quick you were going. The needle keeps whipping up to the 8,700 RPM red line and coming down again as it sails through the gears. Now the gearbox has been quickened, and you know, even in comfort mode it's good enough, but use the paddles, and especially on a winding section of road, it's like driving a manual car. Obviously, the twisties were our choice of road, and we found a lovely empty section to give the R8 a workout. After all, the space frame of the new car uses a blend of aluminium and carbon fiber, shared with the Lamborghini Huracan. The chassis is now 5% lighter and 40% more rigid. It also gets a wider front rack for more front grip. And there is the new Quattro system that, unlike the fixed mechanical setup, now gets electro-hydraulically operated multiple clutch. Audi says that the new system reacts faster and feels sportier to drive. And I second that totally. Now, with the car being so quick, the corners were coming up fast and heavy. I stomped my foot on the brake, quick 2 dabs of the paddle down, nose dives into the corner. And I have to say, the R8 is amazingly poised, steady, feels like it is just glued to the road as it goes round, the Quattro system working brilliantly. But come into a corner too fast and lift off, it's not that forgiving. It will let the tail step out, but then you can have some fun. So you can have good doses of fun too. The balance is just overwhelming and reassuring, considering the pace the car has. You can't help but grin as you throw this car around a series of corners. The steering doesn't quite offer the feedback that you'd like, but it is still precise, so it's a very involving drive. It does feel every bit a sports car, and it offers that level of thrill factor too. Even the cabin makes you feel special.
It's a beautifully crafted interior, just the right amount of chrome highlights, carbon fiber splashes and dashes here and there, that F1 style steering that really lets you know you're in a sports car, and of course now the MMI or the information display that's moved into your line of vision as the virtual cockpit, like Audi call it, as we've seen in the Audi TT.
Then there's the aircraft throttle-like gear selector. On the left of the steering boss, there's a button for Audi's Drive Select, which offers you comfort, performance, etc. And below that, there's a button to adjust the diff for dry, wet or snowy conditions. There are also some nice touches like the specially created rubberized mat ahead of the gear lever where you're meant to place your phone, and a bottle holder stowed away under the elbow rest. The new R8 also has a fair-sized glove box. The optional racer-like seats on this car aren't really focused on driver comfort. There is no 127-way adjust and you can't recline the backrest as well. And the fore and aft control is manual. You can lift the seat up thankfully, and that is powered, but that's about it.
Now the seat feels really firm. In fact, the base feels like almost sitting on a school bench. It's that hard. But I like the firmness in the backrest because when you're getting pinned to the back of your seat with all that torque, it really holds you in well.
And the stiffness of that seat base just accentuates the stiffness of the suspension when it comes to ride quality.
Well, I think the Indian roads are just too much for this sports car to deal with, even in comfort mode. At low speeds, you can feel every pimple, dimple and ripple on the road surface.
The R8 thuds through potholes and hops up and down on smaller ridges as well. Had the seat cushioning been a bit better, less of it may have filtered through, but I could always feel what the tires were going over. What the R8 managed quite well though was to go over the speed breakers, even the larger ones. Though I was aiming at them gingerly, worrying that it would bottom, it really didn't, which gives you the confidence to drive it everywhere. And once you pick up the pace, the ride does get a little more settled too. With the sun setting, it was time to wind down, but I really had to tear my hands away from the steering wheel. And when I did get out, I finally got a good look at the car. So I noticed the few changes that there are. It's a sharper front end with the sculpted headlights and a more integrated single-frame grille with the gaping air intakes. The rear too has been tweaked with its new trapezoidal tailpipes, and whichever angle you look at it, the R8 is stunning and a sure shot head-turner.
Yes, it is a little stiff-kneed over the Indian roads and ride is not its strength, but that's not top on the list of priorities when you're looking at a two-seater sports car. As a sports car, this does tick off all the right boxes. Now this Audi R8 V10 Plus is lighter, it's stiffer, it's faster. It's really got everything going for it. It's a stylish, sassy looking sports car. It's got a good level of interiors, power, loads of it on tap. It's lightningly quick. Of course, there's all that oral drama as well, so it's exciting. As a sports car, it does everything it's meant to. It has got soul. I mean, it just involves you so much when you drive it. Well, apart from all that, let's just say that it is priced much better than the likes of the similarly powered Huracan. So what's not to love about this car? I don't see any reason why you shouldn't buy one.